I'm kidding.
I think this is some interesting ass shit, so. Alright, now, JFK and extraterrestrials! Not extra testicles, extraterrestrials! We uncovered a letter from JFK to the head of the CIA. And
labeled top secret.
Labeled top secret.
And how did you get this?
Internet.
Are you sure it's real?
Nobody can be sure. The only thing that I can tell you is that the signature at the bottom is JFK's signature.
Okay.
I did compare that, so I know that that's, well, I'm not a handwriting expert, but it sure as hell looks like JFK's signature.
Okay, so what does it say? Get to the juicy crap.
Okay. Now, the subject line in it is classification review of all UFO intelligence files affecting national security. So basically what he's saying is that we need to share any UFO sightings with the Soviet Union so that they don't mistake one of these UFOs as an American spy plane and go and nuke the shit out of us and turn us all into fucking
Jesus.
mutants.
I mean, I guess that's kind of a two-way street, though, too.
It is, yeah. So,
like, how do we know that what we see here in America isn't like a Russian
well, that could backfire
aircraft?
too, because then Soviet Union could be like, "Well, no, that is a UFO. I don't know what that is. Crazy American, round eye,
White chocolate, right there. It's your nickname now, White Chocolate.
But this is one of two secret memos that were sent out on November 12th, 1963. That was 10 days before his assassination. So
That was said really obnoxiously.
that was sent out 10 days before his assassination. Is that one better?
Yes, much.
Okay. He basically wanted to let the Soviet Union know of any UFOs that they find so that the Soviet Union doesn't... I mean, I already explained it. It makes sense. It's. I don't even know why it needed to be a secret document, I guess, because of mass hysteria and everything like that. The second letter that was sent out, that's the one that doesn't really say much about aliens. Or UFOs or anything like that. The first one is actually in the subject line. It says UFO intelligence. And that was to the head of the CIA at that point. And so was the second one, I think. I don't know. But I got them both printed out in front of me. They look pretty legitimate, but you never know, I guess.
We should take pictures and put them on Twitter.
I will. I actually already have these on my Google Drive, so I can just...
upload
them bitches. Yeah, that's basically the theory with the aliens and everything. Murdered his ass because he wanted to come out and basically...
be like, aliens exist.
Well, not only that, is he wanted to work with the Soviet Union on it. That's what it all comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Well, with the autopsy, basically the doctors were just really... They were just really, really inexperienced. And there's a doctor in Detroit that actually came out, and there was an article on it that he said that it was horribly done. It was completely a botched autopsy.
Well, and like we've seen pictures or off of one of the documentaries where they have what looks like cut wounds into his forehead.
Yep.
And it looks like somebody took a knife, and it does not look like, a bullet hole. It doesn't look like any, exit wound. It looks like somebody just straight up just started, Boy Scout cutting right into his face.
Right. Right. That's the whole thing. It basically looks like they tried to make it look like the entrance wound was in the back and to the right so that it lined up with the school book depository.
Right. And who did they interview right after somebody had gone into the hospital and confirmed that he was dead? And he did a press release and he pointed to his temple, saying, right square in the forehead.
Right. The thing is that's really loose evidence, but at the same time, I could totally see him subconsciously accidentally being pointing at the spot where he got shot.
Right, which was in the right temple.
You guys can look it up. You can say, if you go look it up on YouTube and say, Kennedy pronounced dead, I'm sure this guy will show up. It's a guy standing in front of a bunch of reporters basically saying, Kennedy has been shot. He is dead. We didn't talk much about Jack Ruby. I will say that Jack Ruby was a nightclub owner that he ended up dying at the very same hospital that Lee Harvey Oswald and JFK died at. JFK died at Parkland on the 22nd. Oswald died there on the 24th. And then on January 3rd, 1967, while awaiting a death sentence, he died, Jack Ruby did, of the pulmonary embolism. January 3rd, 1967. That's what happened. And he had ties to the mafia, too. We're going to get down to the nitty-gritty. We are going to get down to what is our opinions on all of this. This is probably the most research I've ever done for a show. I did a lot of research on this. And I know we didn't cover everything. You ain't gotta tell me. I didn't have time to sit there and go through LBJ's career and everything like that. Like I said, he murdered a man, supposedly.
Can I go through 13 weird coincidences between Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy quick?
Yeah.
Okay, I just found this little add-in for you guys. So the coincidences between President Lincoln and Kennedy. Lincoln was elected to Congress in 1846, and Kennedy was elected to Congress in 1946. Lincoln was elected president in 1860, and Kennedy was elected president in 1960.
Oh, wow.
His wife... Oh, we're looking at Lincoln again.
Exactly 100 years.
Yep. His wife lost a child while living in the White House. And then Kennedy, his wife also lost a child while living in the White House.
I didn't know that.
Lincoln, he was directly concerned with civil rights, and it looks like Kennedy was also directly concerned with civil rights.
Oh, yeah, that was the 60s.
Yep.
That was one of the big things, too, that the CIA and the FBI didn't like about him, is the fact that him and RFK wanted equality.
All right. I also see that Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy who told him not to go to the theater number 1. And Kennedy had a secretary named Lincoln who told him not to go to Dallas number 2.
Oh, my dear Lord.
Lincoln was shot in the back of the head in the presence of his wife. Kennedy was also shot in the back of the head in the presence of his wife.
That's crazy.
Lincoln was shot in the Ford Theater. Kennedy shot in a Lincoln made by Ford.
Oh my God.
Lincoln was shot on a Friday, and so was Kennedy, also shot on a Friday.
Wait, hold on. I don't think it was a Friday.
We'll have to look more into that.
I thought it was a Tuesday. All bad things happen on Tuesday.
They all happen in threes.
And on Tuesday.
All right, so back to Lincoln. The assassin, John Wilkes Booth, was known by 3 names comprised of 15 letters. The assassin, Lee Harvey Oswald, was also known by 3 names comprised of 15 letters, which I feel like that's kind of a stretch, but okay. So back to Lincoln. Booth shot Lincoln in a theater and fled to a warehouse, whereas Oswald shot Kennedy from a warehouse and then fled to a theater. So that's a head scratcher there for you.
That's a little weird.
Mm-hmm. So Booth was killed before being brought to trial. Oswald was killed before being brought to trial as well.
The Lincoln assassination would be an interesting one, too.
It would.
Did you know that 3 other people were shot that day, too?
Nope.
That it was technically a conspiracy in the literal sense that Booth and 2 other sympathizers with the South, one had tried to kill, I think it was Congressman Seward, and damn near stabbed him to death. And they tried and failed. It wasn't shootings.
Yep, that's actually my next bullet point here.
Yeah.
There were theories that Booth was a part of a greater conspiracy, and then there were also theories that that Oswald was also part of a greater conspiracy.
Yeah, yeah. We'll give our opinions here in a minute.
Lincoln's successor was Andrew Johnson, born in 1808. And then Kennedy's successor was Lyndon Johnson, born in 1908. So yeah,
Wait,
those are...
what was Kennedy's successor? What was his name again?
Lyndon Johnson.
No, not Kennedy. Sorry, Lincoln.
Andrew Johnson.
Yeah, he was that. There was supposed to be assassination attempt on him too. They were trying to bring down the whole Union.
Gotcha.
Basically, that's what it was. Seward was the Speaker of the House, so they were trying to take out Lincoln, and then the Vice President, and then the head of the Speaker of the House, so that the 3 top guys were gone, and they had to go down to whoever after that. The guy that was supposed to assassinate Johnson got too drunk and fell asleep.
Whoops.
That's basically what happened. He got too drunk and didn't know what the fuck he was doing and ended up just going back to his hotel room. Alright, so now we're going to get into our opinions on what happened. What is our opinions? Because they're so valued by the masses.
I don't even know what I think yet. I have a few things, but I don't even know.
Well, pick one.
Okay, you want me to go first?
You can go first.
Alright, so watching the documentary, and this was just the other
We watched
night.
a couple of them.
Well, the one that I actually paid attention to, which I was only half paying attention to. I don't watch documentaries, that's not my thing. Anyway.
I do.
Yeah, I get roped into that quite often. But I was just watching the video and of the assassination, and it looks like his head does blow backwards, and it just, the way that Jackie Kennedy like crawled across the back of the hood to go grab a chunk of her husband's skull, it just doesn't make sense. Like, to me, I mean, I understand your point of like the bullet can explode, but it just looked more like the entry wound would be in the front temple and then coming out the back versus going from the back of the head and then just exiting out the front. It was sloppy. It didn't make sense there. So I feel like it wouldn't have been a shot from behind, but more of a shot from the front. And I definitely feel like it's more of an inside job. Although I don't know if I could pinpoint like the CIA specifically. Or, you know what, it very well could have been a Cuban. I mean, that's a very good possibility. I never really thought too much about it, but I mean, it makes sense. You know, like, we're going after their leader, why wouldn't they come after ours? So that's just kind of what I've been thinking about. What about you?
So what's your actual, if you had to pick one?
If I had to pick one?
Yeah, if you had to pick one. Gun to your head.
I just take the bullet at this point. No, I don't know.
Kennedy did.
Yeah, really. Oh, that's a real head scratcher.
You can't make up your mind, or what?
Well, no, I know I definitely feel like it's an inside job, but I wouldn't be able to tell you. Yeah, well, and I don't know that it is the CIA or if it is, you know, like communists, so.
Right.
I'm in between.
Okay.
So that's my final say, is I'm right in between. I do not feel like it was actually who they pinned it on.
Okay, so you don't believe Oswald fired any shots then?
I don't really know. I don't really believe that he did it.
Okay, cool. Alright, so I've got my own theory. I'm going to give you actually like a possible theory, and then I'm going to give you actually what I wholeheartedly believe. My possible theory is, what if the guy that got shot outside of the jail wasn't Oswald? What if that was an imposter and Oswald was working with the CIA and they shot some random guy, or they actually did plan the shooting with Oswald and basically played it all out and faked his death?
That's possible.
And I haven't seen that really anywhere. And that's something that was rolling around in my head. What if they faked his death and then basically just said, you know, okay, it would put a nice neat bow on it. You know what I'm saying? Because then they don't have to go find anybody else. Then they can write the Warren Commission report and say, hey, this is what happened, and we caught the killer and we charged him, but he got killed before he could